guys are listening to us. Welcome, everybody. We're not there yet. It's 6:59 here in Miami. Check out the palm trees. We're chilling. It is the BlackCast, first one ever. So if you're there, hang on. We're gonna have some very good questions towards the team. I don't know if people are hearing me. If you are, chat, type it all out. I'm looking at the chat, guys. So we're almost there. It's the Wiz. That's right. We're chilling, brother. Miami. Yes, all over the world. We're coming to you live and direct from the Netherlands, Cambodia, New York,
Represent.
New
Canada,
York.
Toronto
and
representing. Yeah.
Toronto.
Oh,
We're almost
Canada.
there, guys. Pitbull.
This guy is calling you.
Yeah, man. These people are chilling.
Keep
All
trying.
right, I think it's 7. Let me know. We're almost ready to go. We got a 152. All right. All right, guys. So we are about to start. We should be on that delay. So now we should be 7. I see 7. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, and go. Welcome, everybody, to the first BlackCast live video chat with the BlackCoin development team. I'm your host, Wisfarm, and today we got some really good questions that the community has put together for the BlackCoin team. And I'm going to start it off by saying that I'm really, really excited. I'm proud of this team. They're actually, this is history, guys. They're coming up front. They're showing their faces. They want you guys to know that there's transparency, that BlackCoin is here to stay, and that big things are coming for this currency, digital currency here, coming up in the year 2014 and many more years to come. So with that, I want to bring in and introduce you guys the BlackCoin team. And today with us we have Soepkip, community manager. We have Gritt. We have the TheDoge. We also have GNU. And I want them to introduce themselves to you guys. So here we go. Soepkip, tell
Well,
us.
hello. Well, I'm Soepkip. Yeah, my actual name is Rob, and I guess I started with BlackCoin like 4 hours after launch. I was mining. You can see in the back I have some miners, and I basically started mining it. People started asking for a website. I built that one, and from there on out, I started a community bounty fund. People started to trust me, started to see me as kind of the voice of BlackCoin. And that's kind of how I rolled into the community manager role. I myself started in 2011 with cryptos, did some Bitcoin mining actually, and from there on out, well, I only really got into it not right now, like with BlackCoin. So I'm gonna give it on to Gritt.
Okay, Gritt.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm Gritt and Old, or Josh, actually from Canada. I got involved with the team essentially at the beginning of June. Um, I've always followed cryptocurrencies for like a while, but I never saw it applicable in today's setting and environment, especially with the point of transactions or point of sale. So, um, essentially, I started to figure out like who are these guys behind this team, and I wanted to see like if I can trust them, and wanted to see what exactly makes everything tick. So I started getting involved in the IRC channels, and I started realizing that like this needs, like you guys need this, and you guys need some of this, and somebody needs some of that. But
And that's kind of how you got involved, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to fill in some gaps that were kind of not being filled in. So, for example, I started working on the Meet Black document. This is just before like the big explosion thing, and I was slowly working on it, poking away, because I had another job. And then I saw the importance of it, like, and I'm like, I got to get this document out there, like, especially when we're hitting this bubble, we got to sustain it. So, I created the Meet Black document in about 2 days, fully going, completely doing all my research. And I remember I did not sleep that night actually working on it. Worked like sometimes 18 hours straight, 20 hours straight, or
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, just to get it out there. There's a little mistakes and there are little
Hey,
misspellings
but
and so on and so forth.
that's good enough. At least people are getting to know you a little bit. I'm gonna go now to Black Dutch.
The Black Doggy of Wall Street. I'm from the camp of people that actually believe that it's Doggy Coin and not Dogecoin, but that's neither here nor there. I'm one of the co-founders of BlackCoin Pool. For the people saying I'm smoking weed in the room, just roll your own tobacco. Just like to clear that out of the way. So yeah, I come from the film and media industry actually, and me and GNU put together a website called The Doggy of Wall Street, where it was a doggy coin like game, speculative bubble game, and right after we launched, the whole BlackCoin pool thing happened. We kind of abandoned the project, but we already had like this team of people assembled and just ready to go, and then BlackCoin pool fell in our lap, and a month later, and here we are on this BlackCast talking to all the people that are interested.
Yeah, no, and you fell to us in the community at the right time, actually, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I want to get some from GNU. GNU,
Hey,
tell us a little bit about yourself.
all right. So I'm GNU. Nice to meet you all. As many of you know, I'm the lead software engineer for the pool. It's been a pretty hectic couple of weeks, as the dog was mentioning. We got a lot of things planned. We've got a lot of work left to do. So I'll be here for all technical questions and doing what I can, answering any questions people have for me.
Excellent, excellent. So, guys, we're gonna get right into it. We have a lot of questions. I mean, I was actually amazed at the amount of questions that I got. So, everybody, if you're listening, we might not get to everybody's question, but we are planning to do this like a weekly event if we can do it. Where we'll try. So we're gonna get to as many questions as we can. So if I did not answer or ask your question, just hang in there because we will ask that question either today or maybe the following week, and we are going to have amazing live events. So the first question that I have right now is, how did the team come together? How did you guys come together? And I'm going to throw that at the man of the hour, Mr. Soepkip, the community manager. Go ahead, Soepkip.
Yeah, basically, like this team came together, or Red 4 started Coin. There was no real team. Basically, we added Mark soon after I came community manager, just to help me out. And we got Radio Static got in there for the BlackCoin pool in the beginning. That exploded, as we all know, and that's basically when LDG contacted me. And they convinced me to give Radio Static's pool to them, and they started working on that, and we had an amazing run with them so far. And later in the picture, Gritt came along with the Meet Black handouts, and so far it's going really well.
I gotta ask you now that I have you here. A lot of people, they're like, Soepkip, how did he find, or how did Rat 4 find him? I mean, it's like this mystery thing going on. So, what can you tell us a little bit more on how that happened?
I think the plan.
Soepkip
I think
always
the plan
was.
is just aligned. I don't know. Doge, you got the perfect explanation for this.
Yeah, he's like it's like, how in the Bible God just sort of always existed. Well, Soepkip's just like, as long as black coins existed, so as Soepkip existed. Like, and on the third hour, he just appeared and just guided the whole thing. But that's just kind of how it is, and that's kind of how this whole project has been. There's just been empty roles, and people have just been stepping in and doing them, and then people are like, yeah, okay, this guy's just doing it, might as well do it officially, and that's kind of how this whole project snowballed.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that, and I also want to throw in just a little bit more. Black Dog, you came at the right time. I mean, when this multiple that everybody was talking about, something was going on, and you just showed up with the Legion group. I mean, you guys have done and have proven that you guys have done an amazing job. Can you talk a little bit about that part, that area of the multiple, and how you came in?
It was actually pretty interesting. I already had a group of people assembled that was just looking for crypto projects, just anything, any way to get our hands like into the crypto game and just building applications. And because I was convinced that building applications is what's like really necessary in the crypto world right now, whatever it is, whether it's games or like processing payments or anything, any old thing like charts, everything has a worth in crypto. So I was already assembling this team. We built this website, TheDogeofWallStreet.com, and all of a sudden, one day, my friend messages me, and he's like, "You have to get into IRC right now. There's something crazy happening. I don't have time to explain." He's just like, "Here's the room. Just get in. I don't even know what's going on, but I think something's gonna happen." And so I get in there and I witnessed like the end of Radio Static's implosion, and there was just like this shock. Everybody they had this great product and this great idea, and all of a sudden it's about to be abandoned, and it was just this moment of despair. And I was like, hey, we got a team. I think actually the first thing we said, and somebody copy pasted this in IRC once, was they're like, hey, I got a development group. I'm not trolling. Somebody please contact me. And I contacted Marks and Soepkip, and about an hour or an hour and a half later, we were in a Skype session with them and with our group. We identified to them, showed them our professional credentials,
Right.
Showed us our LinkedIn's, all that stuff, and they felt that we were worthy enough to like continue this project, and they handed over the pool code, and then it was just, kind of the rest was history after that.
And I must say it was amazing. And I'm going to tell you why I think, and I shouldn't be giving out my opinion, but I'm just saying it was amazing because, I mean, the whole thing could have fell apart. You guys came in, put it all together. The pool was working. It had its ups and downs, but mainly ups. You guys have put in hours and just mad hours of work. And
48 hours up.
Yeah, a lot of hours of work. So you guys, I'm telling you, I'm sure. Sometimes people get a little desperate, the payouts. But they do come, and they come at the right time. And I know if they don't come, it has to do with either Cryptsy or something else going on. I have another question from the community. I'm sorry, I'm trying to rush through because I want to get all these questions out. What is Black Road? Soepkip, can you please talk to us about Black Road, this new thing, Black Road?
Well, yeah, basically Black Road is like eBay for BlackCoin. They also support Dogecoin and I think Mintcoin. It's basically a website where you can list products you want to sell. Of course, legal. We don't do drugs or weapons or anything. It's not like Silk Road or something.
Yeah, we're not another Silk Road.
It's not the next Silk Road. Absolutely not. It's like eBay for BlackCoin, basically.
Yeah, but that's great. Go ahead, Gritt.
It's also you can also advertise like what you do is like rather if you're like your profession, like if you're a graphic designer, you can put your services on there. If you are a programmer, you can put your services on there, and pretty much like put your rate of cost on there, and people can pretty much just pay you to do what they need. Yeah, that's.
I think originally it was called MintBay, right? And,
yeah, it was.
So it's like the eBay for BlackCoin. I think that's the best way to put it. I've checked it out. It's actually pretty interesting. I wish it got a little more traffic than it did. I think it could be a really interesting idea. And this is the exact kind of thing that's really healthy for the crypto economy, because right now what we're seeing with a lot of cryptocurrencies is people are hoarding or just day trading. There's no actual, the whole original like Satoshi's dream of, getting physical goods for cryptocurrency. That's kind of what's going to drive it into the mainstream. And so I think it would behoove the community to kind of embrace that project or any project similar to that. Anytime we're turning crypto into physical goods, we're doing exactly what Satoshi wanted us to do, and it's like one step forward. That's one step forward towards public adoption, and that's one step towards the coin becoming something real and something valuable and long term, instead of just fly by night pump and dump like we're seeing with a lot of other coins.
I mean, that says a lot. That says a lot that you guys have come together. You have Black Road, like a type of eBay place for people to trade. I mean, that's just great. I have to let everybody know we are watching BlackCast. the live BlackCoin with the BlackCoin development team, and we're answering questions from the community. I'm gonna keep on going because we have a lot of questions. The next question that I actually got was, and this is gonna go for the Dutch. What do you feel about China's influence on Bitcoin? Should we advertise BlackCoin to be added into the Chinese exchanges?
I mean, the whole Chinese like paradigm is very interesting. Here you have a country that's just like regulated, and it's really hard. They have big brother, big firewalls, and finally you have something where you can circumvent all that, and you kind of giving back power to the consumer. But you're not just giving back power to the consumer; you're giving back power to like billions of consumers at once. If you actually want to visualize this, you should go on a site called fiatleak.com, and I'm sure somebody will link it in the chat over there. And you can actually see the amount of raw Bitcoin just heading into China daily. I mean, we know the effect China has on the market, and if we can convince them that BlackCoin is also a worthy investment, it would be where we could possibly launch into something greater than just hovering around 30,000 Satoshi, and actually see it, traded on exchanges with volume where 100 Bitcoin buy wall is the norm, and not just like, oh wow. And there's it's a long way to that. It's a long way to that, and you have to build it. You can't fake it. You can't pump it. It's just, it has to have real value, and it has to mean something to people. And I think if we expose that to a huge swath of population that's technically apt like China, and we know that they've already embraced cryptocurrency, that would just benefit everyone.
Yeah, and
But then again,
I wanna add to that.
go ahead.
Basically, lately we've seen in Bitcoin the thought every time that China is banning Bitcoin, and I personally think that if China wanted to ban Bitcoin, everyone would know. There wouldn't be like rumors. There wouldn't be thought about it. It would just happen and point.
And I'll add in one thing that when the Chinese government makes policies, given the size of the country, they don't play around. This is the rule, this is it, and it's made it's widely publicized. So
Especially in the banking sector, yeah.
exactly. It's not like all assumptions. This is how it is, and they make it very well known, and they very rarely change their outlook or whatever the law they've made is.
Yeah, the PBOC ruling that they had last year is pretty much still in effect, and cryptocurrencies are still a go. And I just like to say that it is one of our priorities right now to get a legitimate BC yuan pairing. I think it's actually one of our big priorities, along with getting a USD pairing. Right now, we just got Vault of Satoshi, and that's going to open us up to some.
Yeah, that's a big announcement. Yeah, the Vault. Yeah.
The Vault, like I just said, Vault of Satoshi just added us, and you'd actually be able to turn your BlackCoin directly into cash, and it
works.
amazing.
It works great for me. It actually, for us here in Canada, it integrates right with our banking system. We use Interact, so I can direct withdraw / deposit from my account. It's really a great system.
I'm getting this question a lot. Like, people ask me, and I'm gonna ask Soepkip, what kind of coin should BlackCoin be? Like, you think it should be like a luxury coin, a tech coin? Like, what kind of currency, brand image? What are we trying to show the world? What is BlackCoin?
Oh yeah, we talked a lot about that, and basically, I think the consensus in the community is mostly a luxury coin. You see this with the whole one BC is one Lambo thing, and that's a lot of fun, I have to say. The James Bond thing, that's also luxury. It's like we are the gentlemen of crypto. I think that brand really needs to perform. But next to that, I think we have to push actually as a currency. Like getting us added to CoinKai, getting us added to Moolah. That's really also really important in that.
In a lot of ways, it could also be seen. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but in a lot of ways, I feel like it could also be seen as like a savings bond, or just a long-term hold of value where you're not afraid that your investment's going to get diluted by new coins being pumped in, especially with ASICs coming out. That this has a very steady and very low rate of inflation that you can predict and calculate out, which makes it a very it makes it a very interesting investment for people looking to hold long term or just to store large amounts of value.
the first time I saw BlackCoin, I mean, I thought about like the Black American Express, you know, like something like that. That's what came to my mind, you know. I don't know. So that's what I personally thought. So you guys do view it like a luxury type coin. That is the view of your whole
You know,
entire team.
I was actually, this is actually a bit
Great.
of a side note. I was speaking to Africanos one time, and he's saying that, well, we have the joke on the IRC, pretty much saying 1 BC equals 1 Lambo. So the only coin that Africanos is selling on the market is actually at the price of 1 Lambo. So
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, but the only drawback to having a coin be a Lambo is that when the price starts falling, you're like, oh, there goes a Lambo door, and there goes a headlight. Like, I mean, you know, if we do luxury coin, I think that we have to earn it. We can't just say that we
Right.
are. We have to prove it through actually being useful, valuable, and innovative, which I feel like a lot of coins aren't focusing on these days. A lot of coins feel like they just gotta mimic the latest thing, push it out to market, get a templated website, and make a Bitcoin talk announcement. And that's all it takes to become successful in crypto. And unfortunately, in the short term, you know, it is very beneficial. You see a lot of developers with pre-mines dumping at like the peak of their coins, and it's this is not, you know, this is not long-term value. This is not healthy for the
Yeah.
economy as a general. If you want to prove value and you want to create value for your coin, create something, make something new, create a new concept, do something with it that other people haven't done before. Don't just regurgitate the same thing with a different label over and over. That's what's going to kill us. And people are so ready to just accept that and throw their money into it, and then they end up getting burned time and time again, and then that's how we get the bad reputation. Anytime you ask
Yeah.
anybody about, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you know, and I would like for you to elaborate just a little bit more because, you know, when I came into crypto, you know, I like many other people, I did see just, you know, like developers hiding in the background, you know, three developers trying to be one, but, you know, they're hiding over here. Then they're pumping, they're dumping, you know, and then if you're a newbie, you're coming in and you don't know exactly, you know, you're actually just coming in to just check it out, whatever, and you see
Yeah.
all the stuff and you're putting your money in. Things are going all over the place. You're believing things that people are saying. I mean, it's a little crazy. So I did notice when I, you know, looked at BlackCoin for the first, I just noticed this, you know, that there was an actual team, that you know, people were actually talking about something. I mean, I saw things happening, you know. So you know, it's very intriguing. So yeah, can you elaborate a little bit more on how why you've been so successful so far?
Yeah, I actually want to say something on that, and in that regard, basically what I feel is what happens a lot with new people that enter crypto is they get into crypto, there comes a pump, they feel rich, and then they get dumped on, and that really turns them off from cryptos, and that's not what BlackCoin wants to be. We want to be a coin that actually has a future vision. I think
I mean,
that's really important.
I know for
incredibly
us,
important.
for us as developers, it's not only, you know, creating value, but it's also just like, it's interesting for us. This is very interesting. It's all very experimental. It's all very new.
Yep.
It's all very like, you know, it feels like the beginning of something big, and it feels like if you miss this, you would be a fool. So the key for us is to, you know, push, innovate, and create, and not be associated with the Mount Goxes, with the Wolongs, with the pump and dumps. We should be associated with, you know, creating a brighter future based on technology powered by the blockchain, because that's what makes us powerful. You know, that's what makes it so I can be a bank. That's what makes it so the government can't silence me. And as long as we focus on strengthening the blockchain and doing more and more with it, that's the future of cryptocurrency, not pumps and dumps on exchanges overnight and quick Bitcoin. That's not the future of cryptocurrency. That's going to kill us.
I mean, there are so many coins coming out every day. If you're a newcomer and you come into the market, you're like, what am I, where do I pick? Where do I go? I mean, what can you say to the people that are watching right now that that black coin is the coin to choose?
I can't tell anybody that BlackCoin is the.
What puts you aside? Let me rephrase it. What puts you aside? What makes it different from the other cryptocurrency? What's the thing about black coin?
The thing that makes BlackCoin really interesting is that we're not afraid of trying new concepts, whether they fail, whether they succeed. We're going to try them. We're going to see how they work just for the sake of doing it because nobody's done it before. I can't tell a newcomer to invest in BlackCoin. In fact, I never tell anybody to invest in anything because, that's when, as soon as you start telling people to invest and then they get burnt on the money is just one aspect of it. It's this whole movement that's really so much more important. Than the money is interesting to like lure people in, but then it's the whole movement that like keeps the community alive. And with this whole BlackCoin and BlackCoin pool project that's been more and more reinforced. We have a great community that's very accepting of newcomers. But for a newcomer, I bet they're overwhelmed. You go on Coin Wars, you go on any exchange, there's like hundreds of coins listed. They probably only heard of Bitcoin once from some scandal on TV. So it's like, that's the problem, is that they get lured into these really bad coins. They have no idea that they have absolutely no development behind them. And the only thing we can do is to just, let people know. And if they agree with what we're doing, then they should invest. And that's the only reason people should invest.
Yeah,
I'm going to segue now. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to segue now to GNU if I could, because we're talking about the coin. GNU, can you explain how POS system works? A lot of people don't understand it. Like in BlackCoin, can you like example where transaction fees go and how the stacking and works?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I've worked very hard at trying to come up with an easy example. So I'm just going to briefly talk about it. I'll try and keep it as easy to understand as possible. First, some people don't actually understand proof of work. So let's talk about that first. Proof of work, which is what most coins, for example, Bitcoin uses, is basically a process of mining. And I'm sure most people know about hashing. This whole process of mining or hashing for proof of work, which is different from proof of stake, involves finding a number of leading 0 bits. And when you find a certain number of leading 0 bits, you can validate a transaction. It's actually like really hard to do, and it takes a lot of computational power. So what is proof of stake? Well, proof of stake tries to solve a problem that I often call the hamburger or coffee problem, in that you can't really go into, say, a restaurant with, say, Bitcoin or a coffee shop, buy a coffee, and in like a minute or two be out. You've got like long verification times because of this proof of work system. Proof of stake uses a thing called staking, as I call it. It's got other terms, which basically doesn't involve hashing. It involves something completely different. So the easiest way I can describe proof of stake and how it solves the coffee problem is it uses something. It uses the amount of coins you have that you're not basically transferring, that are being held in your wallet, in addition to the amount of time they're in your wallet, to basically give you a stake, or how much say you have in validating transactions. So it's almost like the person with the most money sitting in their bank account has the most say. Now, there's a technical algorithm that's kind of advanced, and I don't want to confuse anybody, but essentially the general concept is you have coins, and these are held in your wallet for a certain amount of time, and the amount of coins in combination with the time they're staying there gives you a stake. And this stake is then used to validate transactions. And when your stake is depleted in the process of validating transactions, you're rewarded. And this also ties in with the inflation system that's fixed at about 1% currently. So that's a bit about the technical details. A really good analogy, and I actually took this from Reddit because it was much better than anything I could come up with, is imagine you've got imagine you got like a special battery that's used to mint new coins. Whenever you receive coins and they're held in your battery, it charges up your battery. Anytime you want to power through transactions and validate them, you're taking power from this battery. And when you're depleting power and it's depleted, you get rewarded for using up your battery power to process through transactions. So I took this one from Reddit, and it's pretty good. Now, regarding interest and everything, this is basically a reward system of how staking works and how transactions are processed. So that's kind of a really simple analogy. I'd highly recommend, if anybody's interested, you can ask me on IRC. I'll link you all up. I'd also recommend looking at the PureCoin white paper. It's one of the first. It's really good. I read through it a while back.
Lately, I mean, when I got started, it was SHA, then Script, You know, then we had to like, you know, things have now gone to pause, and now you're seeing another coin being paused or POF or I don't know. We'll just follow BlackCoin, I guess. I mean, what do you guys think about that right now? You are getting other people kind of following the footsteps of BlackCoin.
Well,
Right.
it's good to be a leader, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it also ties into the fact that all of this is open source. So basically, the fact that it's open source, anybody that becomes a leader now can easily, others can learn from that. So, for example, I believe Redcoin just had a new white paper about PSOV that I skimmed through. I thought it was really cool. BlackCoin, of course, POS. And it's really a big community. If somebody comes out with some new innovation like we have, everybody's able to learn and kind of build up the whole community. So really, it's the open source nature of it. Anything you do, everybody can benefit.
Yeah, and I agree with that 100%. We were addressing kind of the question that was first stated with all the copycats and so on and so forth. Yes, everything is like completely open. Like anyone else can essentially copy BlackCoin, do what we're doing. And we get a lot of people saying like, "Oh yeah, well if we do exactly what they're doing, we'll profit and we'll be able to topple them like one day." Well, it's not necessarily like that because we work incredibly hard to get everything going. Like a lot of the times, like I'm in meeting people, especially in the Asian market. That's pretty much most of my time what I'm doing, and just getting the word out. So we got this incredible team. This kind of also goes back to the question of what makes us different from other coins. We got this almost essentially like just a fantastic dream team that is willing to communicate with each other on an hourly basis. All of us sleep with our laptops beside us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that happens to me too.
Oh
and
man.
there's so many times like we'll be talking like in chat and it'll be like 5 a.m. my time and I'll just pass it on my
I've literally
keyboard.
fell asleep while talking to miners, like about technical issues, just mad. There's so many times I've fallen asleep with just the laptop on my chest, and I wake up and I'm just don't miss a beat, just log right back on and get back to it.
I guess
know
that's
this
happening.
feeling.
I guess that's happening to Doge because I know that I heard that the BCP V2 it's about to get released. What can you tell me about the BlackCoin version 2 pool?
Well, in some ways, parts of version 2 are already here. A lot of it's in the back end, so you guys don't really get to see it, which is unfortunate because it's actually made our lives a lot easier, which is awesome. Our payout system is way more advanced. Our liquidation system right now is like in the final steps of testing. It's really advanced, really awesome. We've been really working on it for a long time, and I know it's hard to see because we still have the crappy old front end up, and we're just trying to push out the new front end as fast as we possibly can because we realize that image is 90% of it, but at the same time, the developers need their time to test, and developers need their time to develop, and we can't put out a product when we're dealing with other people's, coin. We can't in good conscience put out a product unless we know it's going to work and those people are going to get paid. So V2, there's no hard date for when V2 is going to be here. It's going to be rolling out over the next week and a half. Every few days, you guys will see something new.
Right.
One of the things that you guys will see, other than the new, of course, the new shiny front end with all the stats and graphs that all the miners want, but also you're going to be able to do things like donate part of your hash rate to the dev team or donate part of your hash rate to the Black Shield, which is another project that we're going to be starting, which is pretty unique in crypto right now.
Yes, Black Shield. A lot of people are asking about the Black Shield. Yeah.
So the Black Shield is actually a pretty interesting concept. I've talked about it really briefly, and then I kind of never mentioned it again because at the time we didn't have the capability to implement it properly, and we didn't want to implement it on the old code base because it would be a waste. So the idea is that if you guys remember when BlackCoin had its all-time high spike at like 95,000 or 96,000, whatever crazy number it hit, and everybody was, ordering their apartments and Lamborghinis and whatever. People were like, I'm retiring. And then we had a very sobering moment where it crashed really quick because that pump was not all natural. A lot of it was speculation, hype, personal interests, who knows? I mean, and part of it was just like, people excited about the project. That's great. But, when it hit to 14 from 96, people had some sobering realizations, and, it really shook the confidence. Even though it did rebound a bit, it never quite rebounded all the way. And it got us to think there's got to be a way to, if not, I mean, there's no way to mitigate. If somebody wants to dump, they're going to dump. But there's got to be a way to either soften the blow or like make it less lucrative for the person dumping to protect the community and to protect the investors. So
Good.
the idea is that people will be able to donate to this public fund, which will be put up on an exchange. Everything will be on the blockchain, public. You'll be able to see exactly at what price point the Black Shield is at currently, and it's just a really big buy wall. So
Right.
and as the buy wall grows, it's going to move up. It's going to move. We're going to start it really low, like at 10,000 Satoshi, 15,000 Satoshi, something where it has a pretty good buffer until it can get some legs and really stand on its own. But once it can stand on its own, we're going to start moving it up and, using it to create pressure along with the pool. And on top of that, we're going to be creating a system of what we like to call warning clusters. So Black Shield alone can't do the job. There's no way we're going to raise enough money. I mean, maybe, who knows, this community's done some crazy thing, but I just don't see it raising like enough money to prevent a 750 Bitcoin dump, which we've seen before. So it's not unrealistic to think that it can't happen. So the idea is there's going to be these warning clusters, and as soon as they get triggered, an alert is going to go out to anybody who wants to subscribe to this alert. And it's mostly going to be investors. So they'll get an alert on their SMS, on their email, whatever, and it's basically going to tell them, hey, one of the warning clusters has been triggered. If you're going to protect your investment, here's where the wall is at right now. You need to reinforce the wall if you want to, if you want to keep your investment. And I guarantee you, like, all people really need is someone to tell them where to focus that energy, So if you kind of tell people, you're like, hey, if instead of panicking and dumping all your currency, stick it into this buy wall here, and we're just going to make it not lucrative for anybody to dump because they won't be able to shake the market down. And then all of a sudden, the whales won't be as interested in doing these really big pumps and dumps. At least that's the hope. Nobody's ever really done anything like this before, so it's all, of course, experimental and theoretical. But I do think
Absolutely.
that this is something we can. This is something we can do, and this is something that can definitely work. And this is something that, like I was saying, will add value to the coin because it's new innovation. Like, I believe that any sort of new innovation, whether we added a new protocol or mechanism, or it doesn't matter. It's like, this is what drives the price of the coin. And that's what people really need to get their heads around. And they need to stop worrying about, the Satoshi price and start worrying about, like, hey, what can I build? Maybe I should fund a developer instead of trying to pump this coin. Because in the end, if you are invested in BlackCoin and you really do see it as a long-term hold and you want the value to increase, the best way to do that is to build applications for it, or just to create new uses and outlets for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a very interesting concept, and we're looking forward to seeing it play out. I'm going to keep moving forward with the questions. Getting ready for the cast, I just kept on getting questions. I also went through the forums and all that, and they sent me a question for Soepkip. Why haven't the development team been more open with their plans? It seems everything is kept in the secret. I guess people are feeling that things are being kept secret, or that there's not enough transparency. What can you tell us, Soepkip, about that?
Yeah, for me, this is actually very easy. I've seen what hype and speculation can do to a coin. Maybe some of you know Zeta coin. There's something going on there. Nobody knows. There's been made promises and stuff, and nothing is happening. So we have a lot of plans, and there are a lot of cool ideas. And I think if these all come to fruition, then BlackCoin will rise to the moon or Alpha Centauri or whatever you want to call it. But we want to keep it a secret as long as possible until we really got confirmation stuff is going to happen. Because if we start hyping a coin, we start influencing the price, and I don't think that's fair to the investors or the miners or whomever is interested in BlackCoin.
I just like to. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that being said, like a lot of people are kind of confused. Like, what does Gritt do? A lot of it is actually talking to the Asian market, and there's a lot of things that I too am doing to actually get more so some what's the best word I can find is like insight into secrets of the BlackCoin pool. Nah, not quite. Essentially, going back to what Soepkip said, if we start telling everyone exactly what we're doing, we will create some hype, and the price will manipulate, and it could go for the better or it could go for the worse. And this is kind of exactly what we don't want to happen. We want to be 100% confirmed with absolutely everything before we bring forward what we're working on. Because
Right.
if we start saying like, oh hey, I'm working with these guys and they promise that we're going to get us in and so on and so forth. And this is also kind of why we did not address Vault to Satoshi until we were actually added to Vault to Satoshi, because they can say, yeah, we're adding you guys, and we can hype it up. We can say, yeah, we're being added, da 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 da. But then they can go last minute and say, oh, sorry, you're not being added anymore. And then bam, that's confidence down in the community, and this is not what we want.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I would just, if I can punctuate that a little bit, the internal stuff, like Soepkip knows, I talk to Soepkip on more than a daily basis. I spent like half my life with this person.
What?
But there's so many things happening, and at the same time, Vault, like for every 10 things happening, maybe only 3 of those things come to fruition, or even some of those things only come to fruition further down the line. Some of the things I just can't say because of legal reasons. There's a lot of things being built on the back end, and I just can't talk about it until I have confirmation from other sides, or there's a lot of reason. And like they said, we don't want to encourage speculation, and especially if something doesn't come to fruition, we don't want to see that dump, and we don't want to see hurt investors and hurt miners, and it'll just discourage people from the coin. As far as transparency goes, the new V2, like for the pool, the new V2 website, I've already shown previews of the front end to a couple of people, and it has all the features that you would want to see, your profitability formulas, what blocks we mined, when we got them, what round you were in, and all that stuff takes time to develop. It's not that we want to close this stuff up or there's something shady going on in the background. It's just that stuff literally takes development time. Our pool is pretty unique with its mission, and a lot of the cookie cutter stuff that's out there doesn't apply to us. So we have to develop it from scratch. We have to test it thoroughly. And at the same time, as GNU tells me on a daily basis, we have to avoid scope creep, right?
Yes, scope creep. And in addition to that, some specifics about transparency. So we will be, for example, showing the blocks found. The My Miners page will be redone for V2. In particular, the blocks. Now, of course, we don't want to reveal as we're mining exactly what we're mining. There's a lot of other pools that don't do that for good reasons, but definitely all the blocks found will be shown, and with time we will reveal, of course, the coins for those blocks. You'll be able to see on your My Miner page your hash rate, your payouts, just like it used to be, how much was paid out, your BlackCoin per mega hash per 24 hour. All of that is going to be brought back in V2. Again, it's really a total redesign, and these things take time, and I don't like releasing unstable code. In fact, I'm very kind of tedious and meticulous about software. I'm not just a developer. I take it very much from an engineering background. So we want to make sure when we roll it out, it's good, and we can easily resolve any issues that arise.
Yeah.
I'd just like
Great.
to say, oh, I'm sorry.
And
Uh,
and basically, like to about this argument about secrets and plans we have, we kind of want to be like Apple. You know, Apple just rolls something out all of a sudden or something. You know, there are rumors, but they won't react to it. And when it comes, it gives a punch, and it happens.
I'll tell you guys this, that for everything that doesn't make it to the public, I always tell Soepkip everything. He's independent of the BlackCoin pool. He is a direct representative of the coin and the community. So I've always been 100% transparent with him and with Marks,
Yeah.
the other community leader. Anytime we've had an issue, I've always laid it out with him. He's helped us deal and helped us mitigate many disasters, and we're eternally we're eternally grateful for that. But at the same time, there's not some stuff just can't always make it to public because yes, like some things do need to be transparent, but on the other hand, we do need to protect investors, and some things is just not worth mentioning if they got taken care of. It's
The
it's
good
it's
thing, I
Go
was
ahead.
going to just segue in. I think that the good thing that I'm seeing, from the outside is we have a very engaging development team. We have a very engaging community. I mean, you have passionate people in the forums that are coming up with marketing ideas, just great marketing ideas that are also pushing the coin, in areas where you might not be able to do because you're probably preoccupied with the back end, and that's something that people maybe are not thinking about. We have a very dedicated team, but we also have a passionate community. So I think it kind of worked with each other. What
A
do you
good
think?
a good example of that is actually the way we had to push our V2 backend. We came under some DDoS attacks, um, and we kind of thought that maybe there was somebody like gaming the share system. We weren't 100% sure, and it kind of just forced us to push to V2 a little earlier than we wanted to. That's why we didn't want to launch V2 with a separate backend and like do it the way we did it, but to protect the miners, we do we we felt like we had to switch to a more secure and a more complete solution than what we were using before. So
Right.
that's just one of the examples. And then, but like when you do that, now you run into problems that you didn't necessarily have time to think out. And instead of focusing on the front end, you're so busy like focusing on the database or the payout system, or like an exchange can be down, or they change their API, or a million different things can happen, or something's imploding. The crypto world never sleeps, and you're constantly like it's not like we try to have a plan, we try to follow it, but a lot of times we find ourselves reacting to situations. And we're learning a lot as we go along. A lot of this stuff is kind of like the new frontier type of stuff, and we're going to stumble a couple of times, but every time we're
Yeah.
just going to pick up, we're going to figure out what went wrong and how we can mitigate it. And that's what we've
Right.
done with every situation that's come so far.
Right. Well, so far I appreciate all the answers. I must tell the community we're 13 minutes away from almost being 1 hour. The live cast will be 1 hour, and I'm very happy for all the answers that I'm getting. And guys, we're gonna be doing this, so send the questions to at Wizrig at Twitter. Or PM me on IRC and all that, and we'll continue to improve our live cast and answer the questions that you guys have um, from the development team. I'm going to now ask Soepkip, what is the marketing plan for the next several months? I mean, we have a lot of people that now are, joining. Other people have bought the coin, like months, and they're in. So they're thinking, what's going to happen in the next several months? What exciting things are coming for BlackCoin?
Well, basically, at the moment, we are like working really hard to lay the groundwork for it. Like with the foundation, we're going to start next week trying to build that out, and from there on out, we want to do this as professional as we can, the marketing aspect. And I think like we've been talking with some parties, and I think Friday we'll have more information on this, and we'll actually open donations to that effort. Basically, and the community, the community has been promoting stuff in the past few days. The Wall Street promo from Iconic, the
Very
Emma,
nice. Yeah.
from Javelin, and I think that's awesome. I support it fully. I actually personally donated to both projects because that's also something that differentiates BlackCoin from the other coins. Like, who comes up with the idea to go to Wall Street and do that? I mean, that's awesome, and I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be have some cool effects. I think.
So I'm gonna come in real quick for all the people. I hear a lot of chit chat going on. For all the people that are out there, the development team supports the community, and there is really nothing going on. They support the community and all the ideas you guys have. Just go ahead and post it on the forum.
I mean,
the whole discussion about it was basically just us saying it's not officially from BlackCoin, it's from Iconic Expert. That's the only thing I want to say about it.
And I've spoken to probably hundreds and hundreds of people from the community at this point. I answer almost all of my PMs on IRC as long as I'm awake, and I talk to people. I talk to them. I always questions, whatever kind of questions to have. Of course, I can't answer everything for several reasons, but I do always try to assure people. And if anybody ever has a question, I've never dodged questions. You can come to me. You can ask me my opinion on something. I'll tell you straight up. Always, I'm always in the IRC room as long as I'm awake. I'm in that IRC room, and I'll be talking to the community. And any endeavor the community has, as long as they believe that it's something that they want to get behind, I will get behind it as well, and I will show my support and do anything I can.
All right, guys, we're getting some questions from Twitter, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get a few of those questions in. We have 10 minutes to go. And one of the questions says here, let me see if I can read it. It says, any plans on adding X11 and other protocols to the multipool?
Yeah, that's a big one. We fully support X11. If all goes well, we might even add it tonight. I probably shouldn't say that, but
scope creep.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Wow, that's a big announcement.
Yeah, that's exactly. I always get. Yeah, that's what happens in our VoIP. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and then GNU's like, scope creep, are you crazy? And I'm like, well, but our server does support it. It is something we're planning to do. We know it's getting hot out there, and we want to give people a break. We know those rigs
it's cold
are
here
hot.
Still.
Well, you're in Canada, it's different. In the rest of the world,
I got another question. It says, new pool will show blocks found as well as pending, current payouts, and your hash rates.
It will, I believe, the way we have it designed now, but it's subject to change. And this you might not see it right away. Like I said, stuff will get rolled out in iterations, and we'll reach to the community for feedback and see what they want to see. Because it's about the miner, it's not about us. So, but we do have the capability to show which blocks are found. We're writing capability right now so you'd be able to see how much of the coin has already been exchanged, how much is waiting to be exchanged, what's still immature. We're seeing the more we work towards an automated system, the more we can go towards a rolling payout model. So instead of paying people in 24 hours, we'd be paying them out as soon as it's available, and just
right.
in bursts.
The overhead of exchanging it, transaction delay times, block confirmation delays. So, all these things take time. But of course, just as the dog had said, that's exactly what we're going for.
We're getting another question. It says, are you guys confident that CoinKite will be good to go on June 1st?
Yeah. Basically, they tweeted last week that June 1st is still the target date.
I'm getting a CoinKite from my local deli so I can buy sandwiches with BlackCoin.
That's pretty cool. Can you guys elaborate on the black card? They're asking about the black card.
The BlackCoin card from Iconic, you mean?
Yes, yeah. They're asking.
Mm-hmm. The BlackCoin card is a project by Iconic. It's basically a USB wallet. Some people confuse the chip, that there's actually a chip on there. It's just a print. It's a USB wallet with a pretty cool software. I've seen it today. It's in the forums, and it basically shows you everything you need to know about BlackCoin. Works for me.
Nice.
The pool will eventually also be coming out with a little app that you'll be able to throw on a USB stick, and you'll be able to just boot your computer into like a mining operating system and connect right to our pool. So that's going to be pretty cool for newbies who are. I see people. Just got distracted by the text on the sidebar there. But I lost my train of thought. So
The app.
Oh, the app. So yeah, so people are going to be able to load the app onto a USB stick, boot directly into a mining operating system, and it'll be really easy for newbies. They won't have to come into our IRC asking, how do I use CG Miner or this or that? They're just going to download it, plug it in, reboot, and it's good to go.
Yeah, some people are also asking about the wallet for Android wallet.
Yeah, Android wallet. It's well, most people don't know this. Proof of work is simple. To build a wallet for proof of stake is a whole different beast than that. We have had a lot of progression in it, and I think there's one, like software works with libraries, and there's one library that needs to be developed, which will be ready on the 5th of May, I think. And from there on out, we can work on the wallet. I think like around the 20th of May we'll probably release a wallet for Android.
Okay, that's great. I also heard in the background we got 5 minutes. You guys are going to be attending to some conferences. Can you guys elaborate on that?
Yes, me and Marks will be going to Bitcoin 2014 in Amsterdam. That's in 2 weeks.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, we'll be attending that event, trying to get new people interested in BlackCoin. We'll meet up with some people from the UK that are working with us. We'll meet up with CoinKite. From there on out, we're planning to go to Washington, to Bitcoin in the Beltway. That's the name.
Yeah.
Also
Yeah.
be attending the one in Washington, D.C., right? So
Yeah,
That's
Washington
still,
DC. We want to try to get me, Marks, Gritt, the guys from LDG there, and maybe possibly if he can arrange it, Red for himself.
All right, so we're gonna
Man.
go ahead, Dutch.
Oh no, go ahead.
Well, we have 4 minutes, so I'm trying to get some stuff in. We're gonna just do a really fast, kind of like round of where do you guys see BlackCoin, a year from now? That I'm just getting that question. 2 minutes, round table.
BlackCoin a year from now, hopefully still alive. No, it's hard. It's impossible to say because a year in crypto world is like a decade. So a million things can happen from now till now, and a million things will happen. But I think we have a very resilient community, and it is a coin that's going to stay. It's not, a coin that's fly by night. So wherever it is, hopefully we'll still be standing and fighting. So
Soepkip, what's your take? 1 year from now, BlackCoin.
1 year from now, my background will be different if we do the podcast. No, I think we're going to grow big. I really believe in this coin. I believe in the community, and I have a famous quote by Henry Ford on my wall. I painted it myself on my wall. It's whether you think you can or you can't, you're right, and I think we can.
I like.
we can too, yeah.
Very awesome quote. Hey, I just want to tell all the community that I'm very, very excited and happy that you guys have joined us today. We had a lot of people come in today. We're going to probably do this next week, and we're going to try to do it more. We want you guys to know that the team is working, that the community is moving forward. Any event that you guys have coming up, you can actually start tweeting me so that for the next LiveCast, we can start promoting what we're doing and maybe talk about the ideas that the community has, and just throw ideas back and forth. And this is going to be the platform for our community. Just so you know, today I believe that we have made history. I have not seen this before, where a livecast happens on a digital coin like this. This is history, guys. We are making history. Let's make this grow. Let's tell our friends, our family members, hey, let's watch the cast. Because at the end of the day, we're just trying to grow the currency. We're trying to grow BlackCoin.
Yeah,
And,
trying to grow the community. Guys, everyone join Reddit, join our BlackCoinTalk.com.
Twitter,
yeah.
all that good
Twitter.
stuff. Just one thing I'd like to say, I'd really like to thank everyone from the community, especially Wiz for being such an awesome host for us and putting this all together. Soup for running around with me when shit's going really bad and going crazy. Gritt for putting together all the Asia stuff. His Asian article was a huge thing for us. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone in the community that supported us, that's donated, that's invested. Even thank you, Cripsy and Minpal and all the people that have really helped us become where we're at right now. So I have nothing but love for the community. Every day I'm more and more humbled by how much people are willing to put forth in terms of effort, in terms of their own money, time, and just pure energy and enthusiasm. And it's really, really awesome. And that's really what makes this interesting and fun for us. And that's why we're able to dedicate so much time to this project.
And everyone start mining.
All right.
Mine.
Yo.
Everybody seems to want Wiz to go in the pool for some
Yo,
reason.
what the heck
Jump in
is
the
going on?
pool.
Let me tell you something.
Jump in the
Miami,
Wiz,
we're gonna freaking do this right now. We're gonna get the pool.
Yeah! Yeah! Oh, man!
He did it.
It's funny with the delay. I can't actually see it. I see the delayed video.
Oh,
Well, somebody owes him 50 BC. Always bet on Black.
yeah! That's awesome.
Oh, we love you, Wiz. We love you. What would we do with?
I want to see.
what
I want to
would
see a GIF of that. I want to see a GIF of that by tonight on IRC spam nonstop. That's what I really want to see.
That was awesome. Well, guys, I guess I'll be closing the podcast now. So, guys, I'll see you next week.
Hey, we went out with a splash.
You went out with
I'm trying not to laugh too loud because it's like 7 in the morning here. My neighbors are probably still sleeping. Actually, no, it is Cambodia, 5 a.m. Right.
Well, guys, see you next week, and we'll talk soon. See you on IRC, see you on Reddit, see you on our BlackCoin Talk, and whatever other channel we have.
Been real.